Welcome everyone back to another Broker to Broker podcast. As always, the guests that we seem to have on, I keep getting more and more excited about. All of our guests have been great, and this one's going to be, this one's going to take the cake on this one. But my name is Mark Summers. I'm the president of AIM. Today, I'm going to be interviewing the CEO of Madison Mortgage Services Incorporated, Shah Tehrany. Shah, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. This is going to be a good one here. I know we got a lot of content. I know you boast about yourself, but well-deserved. I can't wait to hear about it. So tell me, Shah, how did you get in this industry, man? People love to hear this stuff. I was just at a conference and they said, I love the fact how you asked about how people got in this industry because it's just good to know everyone's background.
Yeah, it's fun. My story's fun. I was living in Miami in my mid-20s doing a lot of commercial real estate development. And, like 05, 06 time range, I didn't know the first thing about mortgages. We were completing some condo conversion projects that we had in Miami Beach, and the mortgage brokers just weren't calling me back. I think some of the challenges of the industry were coming. There was a hurricane. So one of our partners, our investment partners in one of those projects was a big mortgage broker down there. And I was, engaged him to help us. And he sort of explained what was going on. And I was like, okay, well, I'll call the clients and help. And that's kind of how it happened. I just literally started calling our buyers who had contracts and started helping them facilitate their mortgages and, learning the process. I was reading guidelines at night to try and understand, like, how does it work? And, what are the documents that are required? What are the requirements? And sort of fell into it. The market changed a lot, and I wasn't sort of doing any real estate projects because things had changed, and obviously the financial crisis had began, and just kind of fell into mortgages and started doing it and enjoyed it. Enjoyed the people aspect of the business, and it was a lucrative business, and that's just kind of the history. And it's like almost 15 years now, right? So just been full time and dedicated to that. Still doing some real estate stuff, but these days just full immersion into mortgages.
So when did you start? What was it Madison that you started with?
No, actually, Madison's only like a little bit over a year in the making. I was in retail for a long time.
That's a bad word.
Yeah, but I was,
I know.
and that's a lot of people's journeys, right? And it's the wrong journey. But certainly that's my experience. But jumped into the broker world about 2.5 years ago. Got always with the intention of forming Madison, but we're located in New York, and the banking department is more careful and calculated about who they issue licenses to. So I did get it, about February of last year, 2020, and sort of moved my team. I was at one of my good friends who owns a broker shop for a long time. Spent some time there. That's how I got my intro to some of the lenders and the wholesale channel, and the rest is history. Now we're 71 team members strong and still growing.
Wow, 71 people. So break that down for me a little bit. Is it all loan officers? How much support staff do you have?
No, it's predominantly operations and support staff, and we do about 150 loans a month with 9 loan officers.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've heard a lot about Madison. So talk to me about this, because especially with you starting up, your own shop a little over a year ago and whatnot, talk to me about Madison. What's your core values? What's just give me the breakdown of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just about like taking care of our clients, doing the right thing, and approaching the business in an intelligent way and being honorable. I'd say some of our core values are like, and we have 5 of them that we always sort of, try to give people perspective on our business and our company is, one is like start with why, right? We always want everyone to know the why and to jump in and understand all the mechanics of the business. Don't just know your part of the business, know every part of the business. So we love to encourage, asking questions and teaching and training and elevating all of our team members to know the why. Number 2, and probably the most important to me, is be authentic, right? Be who you are, be a real person, be a human being, understand that the mortgage finance process for our clients can be cumbersome and they don't understand all the mechanics of it, right? So be an authentic person, be a good person, do the right thing. People can sniff out BS, so, and if you don't know the answer, don't BS your way through it, right? Get the right answer. So that's a big one for us. Number 3 is train your mind. I'm a big believer in training your mind to engage in best practices, right? Know yourself, know who you are, know what you're good at, know what you're not, and train your mind to be better every day, right? If you're focused on that, you'll do well. Number four is take accountability, right? So just take accountability for your actions. UWM has a great saying, be a thumb pointer and not a finger pointer. But, for us, it's beyond that, right? It's like, just take accountability for your actions. If you make a mistake or if you haven't approached something the right way, acknowledge that, right? And get better and focus on getting better. So I think getting better and being better, starts with taking accountability for your actions and who you are and sort of what you need to get better at. And my favorite is, number five is be patient, right? Be a patient person. If you're new to the industry, we have a lot of new folks that we've brought in and are teaching from scratch and teaching them operations as we build more operational capacity and scale. Be patient. It's not an overnight process. It takes time to develop mastery in a business, in any discipline, in any industry, right? So patience is an important component of that.
I love those. I mean, those are five great things to live by as a broker owner, loan originator, all of it. It's five simple
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that can propel us and continue to propel this community.
Yeah. Love it, man. That's,
All right,
that's what we're for.
yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, it's obviously working pretty darn good. All
Thank you.
right, so you have this brokerage now. You have over 70 people there. I mean, that's a large team. Not a lot of people do that. So how do you make sure that they have your core values? How do you make sure that they're keeping up with the standards that you're trying to uphold?
Yeah, a lot of it's just about the leadership team that we have, right, and assembling people into good teams with good leaders that are hitting home on what we're focused on, and we just do the right thing, right? Above all else, like money is one component of sort of what we do, and we're trying to generate revenue, and you need to generate a profit. You can't exist without one, of course, but it's more about just if you go with the mindset of do the right thing and take care of your clients, you'll always build a good business, right? And the money will follow that. So that's where our focus is, and that's what we're always trying to make sure that we create a culture focused on that and focused on our core values.
Perfect. Now, so over there at Madison, what would you say the main part of your business is? Is it refis, purchases? Is it a certain type of loans?
It's a good balance. A lot of the group that's here with me, the core of the group, has been with me a long time, and we've always been focused on purchase and specifically referrals from realtors. So that's a big part of what we do. It's currently 62% of our production, but it's hard to ignore refinance in this environment, right? With rates being where they are. So we're certainly focused on both, and we want an intelligent balance of both always. But we acknowledge that the market is. I mean, I think the projection is like close to 3 trillion this year, but I think next year we think it'll be closer to like half that. And we know that purchase is an important component. So that will always be our primary focus. Refi will come and go, it'll ebb and flow, but if you have good relationships and you have a good reputation for doing the right thing and have good rates and good service and good product, then you'll always sort of do well in the mortgage business, regardless of where rates are and how big the market is at that time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've been saying this probably pretty much since day one of AIM is, purchases is what you live off of, and refinances within reason are that low hanging fruit. That's where you go buy your little extra stuff, because purchases are always going to be around. Refis, you just never know.
Yeah, agreed. So it's you got to build your business, and I tell all my LOs, like, listen, don't be singular in your focus, right? You can't just be one. You can't be a one-trick pony, right? You got to do it all. You got to experience it all. You got to know all the products, and you got to become a master of all that.
Yeah, don't be afraid to step outside the box. I think we're doing a much better job of that as a community as a whole, but a lot of people are really scared to hop outside their box.
Yeah, it's scary. Change is scary, right? And so when you haven't done something, you don't know. But the way to learn is to do it. And it's not that much of a difference between a refi and a purchase. The process is different, right? But the products fundamentally are the same. And it's like, take an intelligent approach, learn from others that are doing it well, right? So part of what AIM does so beautifully, and sort of this communication apparatus is like, there are resources at your disposal available to master. There's so many people that do purchase so well in our community, right? Like, leverage those resources, ask questions, get best practices from them, and it'll take time, be patient, and you'll learn.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes this stuff is simple, and that's what I love about it because I'm a simple person, but if you're a
Yeah.
good person, you're patient, you use the core values you were talking about, you'll be really successful.
Yeah, I agree, and it's worked, and the proof's in the pudding, right? And look, this is not an easy business, right? There's a lot to know. It's hard, right? And if you want to do it right, you got to work hard and you got to be focused. But set goals and go after them, right? And chart your path. Say like, here's my goal. This is what I want to accomplish. I'm doing all refi. I want to be 30% purchase within 90 days. Like, okay, so how do you get to that? Set measurable goals and go after them.
Absolutely. Love it. I always talk about that. Write down your goals, always be able to see them, make sure they're obtainable, have stretch goals. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's sort of our approach to things. That's sort of, and it affects every discipline of what we do, right? It's not just a sales goal. Like there are operations people that it's like, okay, the goal is for you to have this knowledge set by this time. The goal is for you to be submitting these number of loans by this time or clearing loans by this time, right? This is your targets, right? And if you set targets for people and then you just got to help them on the journey, like how do you get there? How do you get to that goal? What do you need to know to get to that goal? And so that's our focus as we scale. I have some pretty lofty goals myself. And so, but it's fun. I enjoy the process. I wake up every single day, Mark, and I love what I do. I love coming here to my office. I love my team. It's not about money for me. It's just about enjoying the journey and enjoying the process and going after my goals. And we've hit a lot of them, and there's a lot more that we're going to hit over time. And so I think for the community as a whole, it's like, look, figure out what you want to accomplish, right? So everybody has different goals and everybody has different objectives and everybody wants to approach the business differently, right? And so that's good, right? Like figure out what's your goal, what are the tools, who are the lenders that you need to use to get there, right? And if you focus on that, I think that's the right approach.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, I mean, I know that we get beat down sometimes as loan officers, as broker owners, whatever you want, somewhere in this business. But you're right. You got to wake up and love what you do. You got to realize what you're doing, and I've said it before. We truly do change people's lives.
Definitely, no question about it. The impact that we have is significant, and we can give somebody a great experience buying a home, or we can give them a terrible one, right? If we do a bad job. So got to focus on how you make every single client have an incredible experience, and not for your brand, but just to do the right thing, right? To be a good person, right? It's like these are people. They're buying houses. They're putting their families in them, their kids in them. They're going to live in them for years, and so I think again, if you go with that approach and that's where your focus is, like the rest is easy.
Love it. Absolutely love it. We're on the same page. We're on the same page, my man.
Yeah,
Absolutely love
man.
that. All right, so obviously you're growing your business pretty darn fast here. So I want to switch gears here and start talking about growth. Okay. I know you said you have lofty goals. I'm not expecting you to share with me all of your goals, but obviously I know that's a big part of it. But how did you get your business where it is so fast? Like to get 70 some people involved, that's damn good.
Yeah, it was, it was hard. It was hard. It was challenging. I set some goals. I had some unit goals. I had some revenue goals. I had some, approach goals in terms of how I wanted my business to be balanced. And, to be honest, I didn't think the business was so scalable, Mark. Like I didn't view mortgages as being such a scalable business. Once I jumped to the broker channel, started using different lenders, I got some perspective quickly. And for me, what was the best model and who I wanted to model and who I kind of wanted to partner with from a lending standpoint was UWM, right? And if you look at their trajectory and what they've done over the last 15 years, even the last 5 years, they've scaled so massively, and they're so focused on speed and service and just all of their culture and the way that they approach the business just resonated with me, right? So I chose to sort of, follow their path a little bit, and frankly, they kind of make it easy for us, right? And so for me, and I tried a lot of different lenders. They were the best, and I started to model some of my business and then observe like how did they achieve scale? What were again, the best practices? I use that term a lot, but it's like, what worked, what didn't work? I don't want to reinvent the wheel, right? I want to model someone that's doing it well and learn what they did and what worked and what didn't work. And so for me, scaling, hiring a recruiter, focusing on training, not trying to go and grab operations or origination staff from other companies, but just building, from scratch. Like people that our focus is like, if you're college educated and you want to jump in the business, we love the folks that are a couple of years out of school. We went after them a little bit. They're excited. They want to build careers. They're enthusiastic. They have good attitudes, and bring them in, teach them, train them, right? It's an investment, right? Because it takes time to get them to become effective, right? That's sort of dependent on how well you train them, but it's worked really well for us, right? I think there was a demand for it here. We also sort of launched in the middle of a pandemic, which was particularly challenging, but I think it gave us an opportunity that was unique, because there were a lot of really smart and talented people out there looking for work, right? And so we're so fortunate, because the mortgage business is a business that continued to do well. It's sort of like I tell everybody, like, mortgages are like recession proof, and now it's proven that they're pandemic proof, right? And so there's always demand for mortgages, despite it being a commodity product, right? There's ways to do it. So for us, that's what we did, man. Scale was focused on recruiting, training, building new team members, compartmentalizing our process and being a little bit more assembly line, as opposed to the traditional like LO and you hand the loan off to your processor. We did it a little bit differently, right? We have a disclosure team. We have a submission team. The processors don't really get heavily involved until the loans are approved, right? And so we're pre-underwriting a little. And so, we added some, sort of assembly line approach to how we do things, because we know if we want to get to 1,000 loans a month, we're not going to do it on the model that is designed really for smaller scale, which a lot of brokers do, and it works for them. So that's kind of how we approached it.
Yeah, no, and EWM is a good one to follow. I mean, they're arguably our number one partner. I mean, they are our number one partner. They're our big sponsor, and they do a great job for us. But the one thing I love about UWM is and a lot of people don't realize this, but they changed the game in terms of how we go about our business. And then all that's doing is making all of our other lenders, and we do have some great other partners and sponsors, you know what I mean? But they're changing the way they do business, and it's all benefiting us, which then we can pass along to the consumer.
Totally. They're definitely setting the standard for like how things should be done, right? And their speed and their service and their technology and even their pricing, which has become sharp as the markets sort of change and there's more consolidation and margin compression. They're a good model. There's a lot of good lenders out there. You guys have a lot of them on your panel. I'm signed up with a whole bunch of them. We just sort of tend to use UWM more because we value the speed and the service and the technology.
Yeah, that's the way you want to run your business, which I agree with. That's great. And that's a beautiful thing about our community. You can run it any way you want. That's up to you.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, right? Like, so for others, it's not the best fit, right? So, do what works for you, right? Try everything and do what is best aligned for your business is what I tell everyone who asks me that, right? Like, I'm not saying use UWM. I'm saying use them if they fit, right? If they fit your model.
Yeah. All right. Now, so you brought up scaling. Now, a lot of people don't know how to scale their business or don't know that they should be doing that. So let's just say you're a new broker or someone who's never done it before. What would be the first step a broker can take into scaling their business?
I think the focus on operations first, right? So that's what we did, right? So we said, really that sales follows ops, right? So it's like, you don't want to bring in a whole bunch of salespeople and not have the operations in place to be able to do it. So if you want to scale, you have to make a financial investment in bringing in operations staff and teaching them and growing them and building your process, right? Once that's done, you've built your process, you have your operations team to support that process, then you can go out there and start to build your sales teams and your sales infrastructure to go get more loans. And that's why we're so operations focused, and we have so many team members that are operations focused. Our focus now is building our sales team. That's what we're doing, right? Whether it's hire, we have LOs that are joining us from retail, and we're hiring, new LOs that start as LOAs. We're putting them through heavy training and starting to build. And we know that's going to pay off in 6 months, in a year. We'll grow and we'll do more volume, but our operations is there, right? It's there. We can handle, and we have capacity for 300 loans, despite the fact that we're doing only 150 a month.
Only, only. That's a
Yeah.
big number.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great number. I don't think anyone's doing that in New York. I mean, our first year out, we were number one, which was exciting. I know New York's a hard state. We do 70% of our business in New York. It's a tough state and it's complicated, but it's our state. So we know it, we love it. We have the relationships here. So, that's where we're focused.
So is your plans, do you want to scale further in your business? Is that the LO route that you're going, or do you have bigger granular plans than that?
No, I mean, we honestly, we're doing 150 a month. I have a big target to get to 500 by next year, but my ultimate goal is within a couple of years to be doing about 1,000 loans a month.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm making the investments now to get there, and I'm using UWM Heavy. They're an amazing partner. They're like sort of all in and subscribed to helping us get there. And it's hard. It's a lot of work. It's really hard. I will say, Mark, man, like one of the things that changed everything for me is I was a high level producer of loans. I was a loan officer that originated loans, and I stopped. I stopped like almost 2 years ago. I don't do any loans anymore. And I just focused on running the business and scaling the business. I don't think you can get to significant scale in this business if you're a broker owner without discontinuing origination, because you're just not enough time to focus on scaling and building your business and building your process and building your operations if you're also originating loans. That was a big milestone for me, and it changed the way that I approached the entire business.
Yeah, because we have a hard time of letting go. I mean, so now you, Shah, what you have to do is you have to delegate. So let's hop into that. How did you let go? Because that's tough to do. I'm telling you, it's like the number one thing I get from every loan originator, broker owner that I talk to is just letting go.
Yeah, I'm a real heavy detail guy, but I'm not a micromanager. So stylistically, it was easy for me to let go. To be honest, it was the most enjoyable thing I ever did. If you're a broker owner and you're thinking about scaling, it's amazing. Letting go and not having to talk to realtors and clients every day. It gave me a renewed perspective on the business. I'm more into the operations and the technology. So for me, it was a natural progression. I enjoy the mortgage business a lot more, not originating, right? And so what I would tell you out there is, like, if you really genuinely enjoy all the aspects of origination, then maybe mass scale is not, for you. But if you don't love it, but you love the business and you like the operations and you like the tech and the concept of scaling, then maybe it's right for you. But again, it's like, you got to, for all of you out there, you got to figure out what's good for you, what works for you, what's best for you and your family and your life dynamic and how many hours you want to put in, right? And so that's what you got to figure out before you do anything.
Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. So you're not just in New York, right? I think you said you did 70% in New York.
We have 14 states that we are currently licensed in. We're adding a few more, but 70% of our business is New York, and about 25% is the state of Maine. And then we have, we're sprinkled in other states where we're not heavily focused, but we like having those licenses because we get a lot of referrals. We do some Florida, we do some Georgia, we do some Pennsylvania, we do some, some Maryland and Massachusetts. We mix it up a little bit.
So how do you find?
We did our first California loan actually last week, which was fun. Yeah.
That's a different animal over there. I'll tell you that.
It was cool. It was really fun to learn it and understand it. And, every state operates differently, right? The process is different everywhere. So, but that's the fun stuff, right? Is digging into that, learning, understanding how different states do it differently. For me, I really enjoy that stuff.
Yeah. See, so you just stole the answer to my next question was, how did you make that jump to different states, knowing that, man, each state's different. I'm probably going to get burned here and there. Obviously, you said you like to have fun with it, but how do you make that jump?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we're located in Lake Success, New York, which is like 30 minutes outside of Manhattan. And so which is technically Long Island. And I never had any plans to open any branches, right? I was like, nah, I'm one office. I like it. I want everyone here. I think it impacts culture. I think it impacts the way that you approach process and operations. But met a good friend, got an introduction to someone who's a close friend and a partner of mine now, Skylar Welch, who was pretty well known, I think, in the AIM community. And, she was looking and wanting to make a pivot and a move. And I think she looked at a lot of different organizations. She evaluated opening her own broker shop, which she's extremely capable of doing. And we just started talking and evaluating, and her focus, and you're just going to everything that we're discussing, like her focus was she didn't want to do that operation stuff. She didn't want to do all the broker owner stuff. She didn't want to deal with compliance and payroll and HR. And so it was kind of a natural fit, and I was opposed to branching, but I just had to make an exception because she's just a wonderful person. And so we built a partnership agreement and sort of laid it out and how it would work. And that's how it started. She joined us in October, and she's doing, between 30 and 40 loans a month. We built together we built a great team for her. We got a great office up there, and she sort of runs that region for us, including New Hampshire and a lot of what we do in Massachusetts. And so, she's become a partner. She's rocking. That's how Maine sort of came to be for me, right? I don't think I'd ever done a loan in Maine actually prior to that. So. And look, Maine is super interesting too. It's like it's a compressed state that, the closings have to occur very fast. It's a 30-day closing state on purchases, which is much different than New York, because New York's more of like a 60 to 90. We're pushing the envelope and trying to disrupt that. But that's kind of how it happened. And Skylar's the reason for that. So.
Gotcha. See, I didn't know that, but Skylar is one of my most favorite people in this industry. She was one of my first guests on when when AIM first started. We did something called the Talk, and she was one of my first ones. She was so nervous about it, but ever since then, we've always had a good relationship. And no, she's legitimately one of the best in the business.
Yeah, she's great. She's got a wonderful family and great kids, and she's like always focused on like how to balance, but she's a worker and she's a winner, and it was easy. Frankly, it was easy. I feel lucky and fortunate to have been able to partner up with her, and we're doing some great things, and we have some good goals. We have goal alignment, right? Like our focus is the same. That's why it was sort of a natural progression for us to do it. And I enjoy interacting with her every day, and she's super fun, super smart, and she's added a lot of unique perspective to the way that I approach things, which I didn't see from her. She's added a lot of value for us in just what we're doing in New York as a result of her experiences. So she's wonderful. She truly is.
That's great. Now you brought up something about her that I want to touch base on too, which is she's all about balance and organizing, and you got to have a balance with your family. I'm telling you, it's super important. We all could work 24 hours a day, but we're going to pull our hair out. I'm already losing mine, so it doesn't matter. But tell me about how do you organize and balance your time at Madison and with your family and friends? How do you balance that out?
My rule is I go pretty hard during the week, Monday to Friday, but I just do not work on the weekends, right? So I try to do early schedule a couple days a week so I can get out early. I have a 16-month-old son. I got a baby on the way. So
congratulations.
Thanks, man. Trying to balance all that really well. Trying to learn how to achieve better balance, but I'm dialed in. I'm a worker. That's just my nature. So it's what I like, and I'm passionate about it. So for me, like, I don't even consider this to be work. Right? Like, to be honest, it's like, I just love it. Like I said, every day I'm like, let's go, what are we doing today? What are we focused on? I try to be very scheduled, about sort of how I approach things. So that helps a lot, like keeping a tight calendar, trying to allocate time appropriately, right? That's our most valuable commodity is time. And so from a balance perspective though, just, my weekends are, for my family.
Yeah. See, once again, being a broker, you can do it any way you want. Being an originator, you can do it any way you want. I get up at 4:45 every morning because if I'm in town, I'm not doing something for AIM or whatever. I'm not missing my kids' games, and they start early during the summer. You know what I mean? So it's big, and you can do it any way you want. So I'm an early morning riser.
Got it. You do the early schedule.
It sucks, but you just get used to it.
You get adapted. I do it, but I sort of come in and out of it, right? So it's like some days I'll be here at 6, some days I'll be here at 9. So just depends on the day, the week, what's currently going on. So just try to balance it and be focused and work hard.
Awesome. So Shah, I love everything that you're saying today. We're pretty much in the same alignment as well. And a lot of people I'm talking to, we're in the same alignment here. But one thing, to respect everything you do on the East Coast, you're obviously, quote unquote, a newer broker per se. I know you've been in the business a long time, but question of the week I love to ask everyone is, okay, you're a new broker and experienced. The floor is yours. What advice do you want to give to this community? Because I know a lot of people in this community and a lot of people respect you. So I know this is going to go a long way. So what advice or, give us something to the community.
Yeah, I mean, my advice is just a lot of what we talked about, right? Like focus on how you wish to approach the business, right? How do you want to approach the business? Set goals around that, right? And go after them. And just like, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for everyone else, right? So you just got to take your approach, focus on purchase. If you're super refi heavy, I don't think that's a sustainable long-term model. I'm not talking about this year, next year. I'm talking like focus on what's your next 5 years and 10 years look like. Start planning 2022 and 2023 now, right? You have to lay the foundation for your success in those years now, right? So focus on purchase, focus on relationships. Leads are good too, supplement all that, but most importantly, focus on your operations and your approach to how you specifically want to run your business.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, no, Shah, I appreciate everything that you're saying here. It's true. You're not going to be all these. Sometimes people just can't be these big hitters where they're closing 350 loans, a year by themselves or with one assistant. That's not for everyone. It's you got to set goals to make yourself better. And then, the one thing that I tell a lot of people is, then reward yourself for hitting those goals. If you're a 6 loan a month person and that's enough for you and that extends you, great, do it. But then celebrate it as well.
Totally. And that's like, I've known so many brokers that are like, they're doing 10 loans a month or 12 loans a month and they're happy with it. And it's like, man, if you're happy, scale may not be for you. Do those loans. If your focus is I want to be home at 5 o'clock and I want to hang out with my family and want to hang out with my kids and do other things, great, do that, right? Like figure out how to be, the best version of that, right? Figure out how to be more efficient in how you approach the business, because you want that time, right? You figure out how to reduce your stress, but also figure out how do I build longevity in the business, right? How do I make sure that, that my business is well engineered for now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now?
Perfect. Yeah, because it's a balance though, you know what I mean? Because you just don't want to do enough, and I always look at it from the standpoint of, we are what's best for consumers. And I've said that since day one. So I want to help as many consumers as I can, but I also don't want to have a heart attack doing it.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure.
Yeah,
focus on your health and focus on like what you're eating and how you're approaching life and like be like a person first and then work second, right? But that's for me, that's worked well.
Perfect. Well, Shah, I'm gonna wrap it up here, dude.
Cool.
Everything you said was it was money. It was perfect. You know what I mean? And and it's take it from you. You just opened up your own shop a little over a year ago, and you got 70 some people. You're doing 150 loans per month in a nightmare of a state from everything that I hear in terms of doing loans, but you're killing it, man. I appreciate, you always come to the AIM events and I appreciate you always supporting us. I really do.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. It's easy to support you guys because you guys are great and doing a lot for us. I've learned so much also as being a member of this community, right? Like, all the other brokers that have helped me as I'm scaling and building my business, right? I didn't do it all by myself. I leaned on people that have been doing it for years and knew. So I appreciate you and I appreciate AIM and I appreciate everything that you guys contribute to the community on a day-to-day basis.
My pleasure. It's easy to work with people like you. Let's just say that. So Shah, thanks for sharing your insights with us today. And we're going to wrap it up here. So brokers, if you want to get caught up on all of our past podcast episodes, please head over to aimgroup.com/broker to broker. You can also listen to all of the Broker to Broker podcast episodes on iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere where you can download podcasts. So do me a favor, listen to this one. Please rate our podcast. Please subscribe to it, download them. It helps us get the podcast out there and spreads the word that brokers are better. And Shah, you're a perfect example of that. And appreciate your time.
Okay, man. Have a good day.
All right, you too.